Hi, I'm Tony Smith. Majored in computer science, graduated from IIT in the year of 2009, and I currently am a lead software engineer at NetherRealm Studios. So NetherRealm Studios, it's based in Chicago, and we work on video games. The main video game that we work on is the Mortal Kombat franchise. So the most recent game I worked on was Mortal Kombat 11, which came out in 2019. So why did I join Kappa Sigma? So I came for a scholarship weekend while I was still in high school. And for that scholarship weekend, they had a lot of the applicants stay in the fraternity houses since they had room available, and it was a recruitment opportunity for the fraternity houses. And so I stayed at the Skull House, and I just got to know a couple of guys. And then they eventually invited me for the next summer. I didn't go to that because I like you're saying, was it on my bucket list? At the time, it was not on my bucket list to join a fraternity. So I turned that opportunity down. But then when I got to the campus, the brothers would help move people into the dorms. And so two of the brothers that helped me move into the dorms were from Phi Kappa Sigma. I guess it just happened to be that way. And so I got to go know them. They invited me to come out to like Taste of the Quad and other events. And you come to a new school, you don't really know people. And so like I had some relationship with some people in the fraternity. So I was more comfortable hanging out with them. And slowly throughout rush week, I got to know some guys, and eventually like got to know them enough that like when they offered me a bid, I said yes. So that was my introduction to the fraternity. So I mean, growing up, I've always been interested in computers, and you would use computers. I guess also video games. So I guess my goal or dream was to become a video game programmer. I didn't know how to do that exactly, but like it seemed like computer science was a good avenue to get into that field, so that you'd be able to actually program the video games. So like that was my dream. Didn't know if it was realistic or possible, and like when I would tell people that, they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, good luck. I'll see if you could do it or whatever." But yeah, like computer science is a good field, and I've always been very logic based and good at math. So it was also a skill set that worked out for me. So yeah, when I graduated, like I didn't have a job directly out of college, and so I just like applied around to things, and one of the things that was available was an internship at Midway Games, and they had gone bankrupt recently. But I was like, whatever. I just got out of school. It's like what's the worst that can happen if this company goes under or whatever. And so I applied and I got the job to be an intern at Midway Games, and they did get bought out by Warner Brothers, and then eventually I got hired on. So it worked out. I would say no. I mean, in some of my classes, like I took a computer graphics class, which you learn some basics on graphics programming, but very low level, nothing complex, too complex. I don't know if it's the same curriculum that when I took it, but I guess like I know like one of the first projects you do is you write a program to draw a line, and you have to like go pixel by pixel to draw the line, and just kind of like re-implement the interfaces yourself type of thing. To kind of understand how maybe the computer's doing it. Projects that I had done, I mean, nothing. I guess I wouldn't have say I've done anything that would blow anybody out of the water. Like I had done a few, like I think I wrote a Yahtzee game, but nothing like real time. Like one of the things I did know was like C++ is a heavily used language, at least in console programming, video game programming, and so I read up a book on that and had done some sample programming in C++ just to brush up my knowledge. But again, I wouldn't say I was an expert or had done any big projects for that. I grew up playing video games, and it was probably like my number one hobby. I wouldn't say I was like a shut-in person. Like I played sports, I did a lot of things in school, but like when I wasn't doing some kind of activity, video games was like my go-to thing. And when playing video games, I kind of had like an analytical eye to them as well, of like, oh, this game does this thing well. or like I think this could be done differently, and I kind of would compare and contrast the things that I liked about certain games, and so it just seemed like it would be a good fit of using my passion of like analyzing and having fun with video games, well, my skill set of also just having some logical mind and being able to apply that. This is the only place I have worked, so I can't compare it too much to other places. I mean, I guess I had a job as a lifeguard in high school, but I mean, I guess I would somewhat compare it to something like the fraternity of like you get close to your coworkers, like it's there's a lot of camaraderie. I guess one thing would be it is currently a male dominant organization or industry similar to IIT as well. So it's like pretty much my whole adult life I've been um, I guess the male to female ratio has always been pretty male dominant. I would say the average age has been increasing, but for the most part, it's been like a younger industry of guys that were in their like 20s and 30s and like would like to hang out. It's also very like nerdy in a sense. Like there's times where we'd go and play Magic the Gathering after work and stuff like that. I mean, there definitely are times where coming up to shipping the game where I've worked crazy hours. Like there's definitely weeks that I work close to 100 hours. Uh, as for like paid, unpaid, I mean, I'm salaried, so you don't get directly paid. That being said, I guess there is a bonus for if the game performs well, which being on Mortal Kombat, it has happened to perform well, at least in the time that I've been there. And then we also get meals provided for us. But yeah, on the negative side, there's definitely been times where I've sacrificed either hanging out with friends or spending time with my family because I've been at work. So it's definitely a lot of hard work. I mean, I think the industry and the company realize that it's not sustainable to continue to do that, and we're trying to do things to mitigate that or minimize that in the future. Been on both sides of it of like, I want to work more hours too. It's a very passionate industry. Like I said, like it was a passion of mine playing these games, and like you have an idea sometimes, and it's like, all right, I know how to get there, and maybe my responsibility to just do one thing, but I want to do this other thing to a level that I think is like awesome. And so it's like you have to find the time somewhere to do it. And so sometimes you're willing to make those sacrifices. Well, everybody should find in their life is find something fulfilling and use it to fulfill yourself. I mean, I think the tools are more available now than they have ever been. Like there's publicly available engines such as the Unreal Engine or the Unity engine, and I would say like make a demo of something. Like take a simple game, because games are very complex. So take something that that's 20, 30 years old and use one of these engines and like just go in and make it. And like it's gonna take some time and it's gonna take some practice and research. But just do that and like just find an aspect of the game that you want to like tune or tweak or make it your own, and like do what you can to make it like something that you are passionate about and feel like it's high quality. And if it's not, I guess to extrapolate that to like more general, I'd say like whatever you want to do, find something that can emulate that job or behavior, and just again focus on a small piece and make it your own and learn as much as you can about it. Say like the fraternity has a set of values, and I felt like my values match those values or similar to those values. The fraternity has made me realize that like you should come back to those values and use those values to help you make decisions, because in general, if you do so, you'll be more satisfied with the long-term results. Because sometimes it can be easy to make a decision that might seem beneficial immediately, but then like when you think about it longer term, it's like, all right, well, is that what I want to be doing? Is that the image that I want to be remembered for? If you compare it to your values, it makes that decision easier to make. And I think if you follow the values, you tend to make better decisions of where you actually want to be.